Hey guys, what's up? It's DJ's Aviation here. Welcome to the 16th episode to my 1 for 100 scale model airport series. In this update, we have a couple of new aircraft to show you. A lot of new GSE, as you might be able to tell. I believe we have about 7 new packs of GSE showcasing. So that looks really good. And this airport, if you didn't know, is located somewhere in Europe. I don't have a specific area. I'm thinking in the UK, as it's going to be a fictional airport. It's probably why you'll see like Air New Zealand, Saudi Cargo, and a couple more airlines. Anyway, let's get on with the update. Just in front of us here, we have a Monarch Airbus A321 with the brand new, I guess you could call, outside terminals. Now, the way you get into this outside terminal is by travelling underground. This is a bit like the terminals at London Heathrow. If you did not know, I believe it's Terminal 5 to maybe Terminal 4. You do walk underneath a live taxiway and underneath like the tarmac and everything, and then you end up in the other terminal. So this is basically what we're doing. We're moving from the international terminal, which is just here, and you're walking underground to arrive at one of the exterior terminals, I guess you could call it. So we have 4 of them here, as there are 4 gates. The Gemini Jets Iceland Air 757-200 in the Heckler Aurora livery is the next plane. This has just got a layover, I think, of about 5 hours, then it will be heading off to Iceland. Taxiing into the gate, we have the Ryanair Boeing 737, and pushing back we have our WOW Air Airbus A321. Now you might be just looking at the airport and saying, oh wait, where's the grass gone? There is some grass over there, but it's pretty much ruined, as you might be able to see. We had to sand everything off the airport, so all the layers of detail, including the grass, and now we are starting work on it again. As you can see, I've already, with red pen, marked out the parking spaces, and there is no bleeding, so I'm really happy about that. We used acrylic paint pens, if anyone was wondering. Anyway, over here we have the Antonov 225, which will be making a flight out to Russia. This is carrying valuable cargo and other little bits and bobs. Moving along, there's the dodgy grass. Now you probably can't see it, but to the back we have the Volotea 717. That has come in from Palma di Mallorca. The buses are currently on the road, as you might be able to see, if I can get my finger in the shot. Just here. There are the buses. They're going to pick up the passengers, and this will have a 45-minute layover before heading back out to Palma di Mallorca. Here we have our Lockheed, not Boeing, Lockheed C5 Galaxy, US Air Force One. This has just arrived and taken place of the Antonov 225. This will be unloading, I believe, more GSE. That will be in our airport. Here you can really get an idea of all the new GSE. Here is there you go. This is the Herpa. I've got the container next to me. This set is the Herpa. We've got container vehicles, and also we have some more container vehicles. Container loader. Okay, so we've got, they are called container vehicles. The set you see right in front of you, which is the yellow and grey ones, they are called container vehicles. In one packet comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pieces of container vehicles and everything. So this is perfect for anyone's cargo area, as I've done, and you can see we've got some off to the side. So there's the cargo bay. We'll just move across. We have an Air New Zealand 777 heading off to Los Angeles and then to Auckland. Zooming out a bit, we have the Etihad Airways Formula 1 A340, of course. This has just come in from Abu Dhabi. This will be departing tomorrow morning. Fuel is just being loaded on and nothing much else is going on. Here we have our Emirates United for Wildlife. This is being heavily serviced. Oops, There we go. This is being heavily serviced and will be heading off to Dubai very, very shortly. We've got more container vehicles sitting there, everything like that are being loaded on, passengers, gear, and so on. We do have a car inspecting the engines just to make sure everything's okay. I have had a lot of questions as when the terminals will be put on. At this stage, we don't have a time frame of when they'll be put on or made. They are going to be homemade terminals, so they'll be made out of balsa wood, so it's quite a long, tedious process, but it should be a really good result. So that, of course, will be sitting here, where you see that plain MDF board section. But I do need to do paint on the roads before we do the terminal, as then I will not be able to get to the terminal, of course. Now, the airport is, as you might be able to tell, the opposite way. Usually we have the runway closest to the camera. This was just because I needed to do quite a lot of work to the terminal side of things, so we've just spun the airport around. It will be going back the other way, I believe, shortly, as I prefer having the runway closer to me, but doing all the work, like terminal building and everything, will need this closer, so that's why. Over here, we have the KLM Boeing 747 has just operated its inaugural flight in from Amsterdam. As we can see, we have 2 fire trucks. Actually, you can only see one, but there's another one on the other side, which are giving it the classical water spray, I guess you could call it. Moving along, we have an empty gate with GSE, which is upside down. We then have a Qatar Airways Airbus A350 being heavily serviced as it will be completing its flight out to Doha. This is the empty gate where my KLM 747 will eventually come in, and that's called a water cannon salute. Sorry, my brain, I don't know what happened, but that's a water cannon salute. Moving along, we have the Garuda Indonesia Sky Team Boeing 777-300 ER. This will be making a flight out to Denpasar in 5 hours time. More GC on the road, empty gate. And the Brussels Airlines Airbus A330-300 will be making a flight out to Brussels. So that's all the planes in this particular update, guys. So grass will be reapplied shortly. As you can see, it kind of looks really bad with no grass. We are having a couple of problems regarding paint. The aircraft wheels like to stick to the paint and then pull up paint on the wheels. I'm not exactly sure why it does this. It doesn't do this on the dark grey, but does it on the light grey, hence why I haven't been doing as frequent updates. It's just being very cautious. We have bought a sealant, which you are meant to apparently use every time you kind of paint a new layer. Kind of seals the paint and creates a smooth surface. Also makes it a bit shiny, as you can see, especially when light is hitting it. So that's why, moving along to the Antonov, you can probably see that it is quite shiny over there. So grass will be reapplied in all the normal sections. Terminal should be underway shortly. I would say maybe in 5 weeks we will start the construction process. Just depends on how I go with the roads and other detail. If anyone was wondering how I pretty much made my airport, I'll just give you a quick rundown of what I do. So you can see the red line just here. What we used for that was an acrylic paint pen. Gemini Jets Dublin mentioned these to me. I'm just going to get some from a plastic bag I have now. Pretty much, let's see, okay, so I've got some acrylic paint pens here, if it wants to focus. It's not going to focus, but this is an acrylic paint pen. This is what I'll be using my roads out of, or making my roads out of. It's much better than getting masking tape and putting the paint down. That proves very difficult. Extremely difficult, actually. You have a lot of bleeding. Here is a yellow one, which we will be using the taxiways for. Here's just another yellow one. If you want to know what the brands are, I know I'm in Australia, but hopefully there's a way you could get it. This yellow one you see here, if we can get it to focus, is ZIG Painty FX. There's the barcode yellow. Paint marker, alcohol-based pigment pen, acid-free. So that's Painty FX, pardon me. We've got this one as well, which is a paint marker, quite thick. We'll be using probably the numbers on the runway for this, as you can see. I've got my red ones lying around somewhere, I'm not sure where they are, but that is how we're doing the airport. How I did the base layers, so as you can see the dark grey and light grey. For that we got masking tape, which I'll get for you now as well. Masking tape here, blue because I like blue, and blue scissors, and we pretty much cut the masking tape to the line. So before we did all this we had a plan, which you probably might have seen in one of my updates when I was starting off. It was just plain MDF board. I had a grey lead pencil, and pretty much what I did is drew the outline of how I wanted it to look onto the MDF board. From there, taped along the lines and the scissors, then did my base coat of dark grey. I did need a second coat as it wasn't perfect. What we didn't know is after your first coat of dark grey paint or whatever colour paint, you will probably need to use a sealant. Now you can get these from your local hobby shops, art and craft shops. It gives it this glossy finish, but it does help the paint dry and I guess seal it. As I said earlier, it's a sealant, and then again you do the second layer, another sealant, and then I think you are right to do all the finer details. When you've completed all the finer details, one more layer of sealant and then you should be okay. From there it's just collecting the planes and GSE. And of course you'll need some hobby grass, which you can get from your local hobby stores. If you can't, or you don't have a local hobby store near you, I'm sure they sell them online and you can just get layers of them or a sheet. I don't know the exact dimensions of a sheet, but we needed three almost 1 meter sheets to do this, because you have to do a lot of measuring, make stencils, which can be quite tricky. Anyway, I'm probably going to make a more in-depth video about how I made my model airport closer to the finishing date, like when this airport's finished, and I'll give you all a rundown. I know a lot of people want to know like what materials I used, so I will start planning, jotting down things and getting to work on the airport. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. I apologise if I kind of stuttered or fell over my words, as you might say. I am quite nervous when I do these things, so that is why. It's not the best thing to always be talking to a camera with no one else in the room, and knowing this is going online, I do get kind of pressured to make sure everything's perfect. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Goodbye.